you are about to discover eye-opening findings derived from conducting research with over 150,000 brides. These findings gave my team and I crucial insights and answers for how and why brides choose the bakers they do. Hi, my name is Ed Otto, founder of the American Wedding Cake Sales Academy and your personal advisor and coach. I've taken the answers brides gave us and turned them into cutting-edge strategies, tactics, and tools so you can transform your wedding cake business into a gold mine. Plus, to ensure your competitive edge and bright future, it's my mission to elevate your wedding cake marketing and sales skills up to an expert status. In this presentation, I'm going to reveal a discovery which has a targeted effect on your ability to sustain as well as increase the amount of your orders. As a bonus, you'll be able to command extraordinary prices for all your wedding cakes. This discovery is called ESTC. The acronym stands for Educate, Serve, Taste, and Convince. ESTC is a revolutionary platform for selling wedding cakes based on using our proprietary research findings coupled with the principles of relationship building techniques and proven sales psychology. As a side note, to receive an expanded explanation of ESTC and what's in the ESTC system, please go to Cracking the Secret Code that Unlocks Your Wedding Cake Sales overview page under the Marketing Solutions tab. Bakers everywhere say the ESTC concept is such a difference maker, we've decided to discuss it repeatedly throughout our entire website. Before we begin, we're going to examine how we arrived at the revolutionary ESTC finding. I found if you understand how an author or researcher arrives at his or her conclusions, you're much more likely to understand why you can trust the findings and then utilize them for your maximum benefit. So, let's review how we arrived at this remarkable discovery. Within the context of our research, we use a psychological principle called preconceived expectations. To explain preconceived expectations, I'll use a couple of illustrations that you can relate to. For example, when you go to see a movie, you have the preconceived expectations of being entertained and having an enjoyable time. If the movie doesn't meet your preconceived expectations, you leave disappointed and let down. As another example, wouldn't you agree most of us have preconceived expectations for who we decide to have as our significant other? Sometimes a relationship fails because our special someone falls short of our preconceived expectations. Whether that person turns out to be lazy, is not romantic enough, or a host of other preconceived notions, we've become disillusioned, therefore we end the relationship. That is where dating has a direct correlation to selling wedding cakes. Your brides also have preconceived expectations of what they expect from their relationship with you as a wedding cake baker. Knowing this, we can conclude, when you fulfill your bride's preconceived expectations, it is highly possible your relationship with your brides will result in a wedding cake order. If you don't fulfill your bride's preconceived expectations, there's a good possibility your relationship will fail. Let's explore this a little further. I want you to think about how you first began selling wedding cakes. It's very likely the method you began with and are still using is a preconceived expectation for what you think brides want and expect based upon a common sense approach or perhaps advice from others. It's probable you offer a consultation that includes a discussion about designs, a taste testing, and a calculation for the price. Then you hope and pray they will choose you. Through our research, we identified that over 9 out of 10 bakers use this very same sales approach. We refer to it as the look, taste, price, and pray method, or LTPP for short. In addition to the LTPP issue, there is another factor that's often overlooked, but important for you to recognize. It's your millennial bride. She accounts for around 70 to 75% of all your orders. Millennial brides have compounded every baker's look, taste, price, and pray approach because our research has shown a millennial's preconceived expectations for buying a wedding cake are immensely different than the last generation of brides. In fact, we use the data derived from the preconceived expectations of millennial brides to formulate the Educate, Serve, Taste, and Convince platform. Let's look at 5 reasons why a millennial bride is different than brides of 20 years ago, and couple this with our research findings to see how her preconceived expectations have also changed. Millennial brides are getting married at an older age. We found they have a higher degree of self-confidence while ordering a wedding cake due to more life experience. In turn, they expect a better value for their money. Millennial brides are more educated. We found they don't like a salesy approach. They expect you to educate them about ordering a wedding cake and lay out a process for doing it. Plus, they want more educational information on your website since they use smartphones and tablets to perform research on the bakers they choose to visit. The millennial brides reject business as usual. This means she's less likely to accept the LTPP approach. She wants you to stand out from the crowd. She wants a higher level of overall service. She expects to be served instead of being helped. Millennial brides expect a lot of flexibility. This is another downside of the LTPP approach. She or he expects you to make exceptions and have customer service that is second to none. For example, the taste of your cake for millennial brides matters. You need to carry an impressive number of flavors, fillings, and frostings to please her or be willing to make what she wants. Millennial brides are encouraged to aim high and not settle for mediocrity. Your millennial bride believes most bakers are really good cake artists, so she doesn't want to settle for a mediocre baker. She or he insists upon convincing reasons in respect to why she should choose you beyond your ability to create a beautiful and tasty cake. When you add up how 9 out of 10 bakers are using outdated preconceived expectations and a LTPP sales method, can you see how brides are basically receiving the same sales techniques from every baker? Does it now make sense how using an ESTC approach will help you sell more wedding cakes and at higher prices? Although the system resulted in increasing my bakery's average number of orders from 6 to 18 per week at 20% higher prices, I wanted to validate the research for every region of the country before it was released to you. We began by training 1 baker in each of 12 markets. Then we created a strategy to track the results of a long-term 21-month study. While we began our tests with bakers in 8 markets, we eventually finished our tests with bakers in 12 markets. Altogether, 1,083 brides were involved from the beginning of 2015 through December 1st of 2016. The study proved brides overwhelmingly chose the bakers using an ESTC marketing approach by 4 to 1. If the study would have revealed a 50% increase, that would have been news by itself. But a 400% increase is something that makes you stand up and take notice. In light of these remarkable results, I'm inviting a limited number of bakers to join me in the extraordinary success of the same ESTC system I'm using. Let me finish with a message from a long-term wedding cake baker, Kathy Areola, who has converted to the ESTC method.
You're probably a lot like me. Even though I'm happy with my sales, it made good business sense to find out what research with 150,000 brides revealed to Ed and his team. I needed to know what I could be doing that might improve my bride's experience, increase my sales, or help me finally get the prices that are worthy of my time and skill. Even though I've been doing wedding cakes for 15 years, it had never occurred to me to use sales tools like Ed's Guarantee, the bride's first dialogue, or the Bakery Buster questions. They're amazing and worked as advertised. Another wonderful feature of his training is his use of sales psychology. In many of his training presentations, he explained why certain techniques or sales tools work based upon the principles of psychology. When you hear his explanation for creating a website based on psychological influences, or why you should have your own wedding cake advice book, based on psychological factors. It makes you realize how he was able to triple his sales and dominate the Omaha marketplace. Let me say one last thing. When I clicked the Add to Cart button, I had some reservations. I just wasn't sure if Ed's course would make that much of a difference. Not only was I wrong, I wrote this letter to be sure that you don't second guess your decision.
Thanks, Kathy. I'm truly humbled. If you have any reservations, you're welcome to contact me by calling 402-968-2758. It would be my privilege and pleasure to answer any questions for the products or services offered on our website, as well as help you with any marketing, sales, or general business issues.